Hidden world at the edge of a puddle, surprising mysteries of moss and microlife. Chapter 1. Why does moss appear on the edge of puddles? Have you ever paused in front of a puddle and wondered why moss always appears on its wet edges? The secret lies in the spores that float in the air. Once the spores land on a consistently moist surface, like the soil at the edge of a puddle, they quickly germinate, forming fine threads called protonema. From these threads, the moss body we see begins to grow, because moss lacks true roots. It absorbs water directly from the environment through its entire body surface. That's why places that are consistently wet are a haven for it. Chapter 2. The secret behind the dark green color. Look again at the beginning of the video. Why is the moss at the edge of a puddle almost entirely dark green, sometimes like dark velvet? Under cloudy skies, the light reaching the moss is very limited. To survive, the moss increases the amount of chlorophyll in its cells, condensing the green pigment to capture every available photon. When water saturates the moss tissue, the cells swell and refract light in unique ways, creating a deeper color. So the darker it is, the more efficient it is at capturing light in low-light environments. Chapter 3. Mysterious bubbles in the water near the moss. Did you see those clear bubbles appearing among the half-submerged moss at the beginning of the video? Most of those bubbles are pure oxygen, a byproduct of the frenzied photosynthesis of the moss and microscopic algae. When the sun hits the puddle, chloroplasts inside the cells break down water molecules, releasing oxygen that forms tiny bubbles. The gas gets trapped in the slimy spaces between the leaves. There are also bubbles from the breakdown of organic matter by bacteria. But during the day, the bursts of oxygen from photosynthesis are the real stars. Chapter 4. Brownish soil under moss. Cause or support? Is it the brown soil beneath the moss that causes it to grow? Not entirely. The soil is a mixture of humus, dead moss debris, and decomposed minerals, an ideal substrate for retaining water and providing simple nutrients. However, moss can grow even on rocks, as long as water is available. Through fine, root-like structures called rhizoids, the moss attaches itself to and absorbs nutrients from this layer. The brownish soil indicates the presence of constantly renewed organic matter. The cycle of life and death of the moss repeats itself on top of it, creating the foundation of a thriving microecosystem. Chapter 5. The confusing slippery sensation. Have you ever held moss, and even when you're wearing protective gloves, you still get a slippery, slimy sensation? Why is that? Moss tissue is covered in a natural mucus layer composed of polysaccharides and glycoproteins. This mucus is produced by epidermal cells and enriched by microorganisms living on its surface. Its function isn't just to retain moisture. When submerged or very wet, this mucus absorbs water, swells into a translucent gel, and acts as a lubricant. That's what makes even the surface of gloves feel like touching wet soap. This mucus also allows moss to survive brief dry periods, while also acting as a net to capture nutrients from flowing water. Chapter 6. Bright green fibers under the microscope. Is that moss? You must have seen those bright green, elongated fibers under the microscope. Is that moss? If you were looking at moss leaf cells, the fibers would be a single layer of cells filled with chloroplasts in the form of bright green granules. However, what you often see are filaments of green algae living alongside moss. Filamentous algae, like Spirogyra, have chloroplasts in the form of spiral ribbons that glow beautifully. The two can coexist, living side by side without interfering. So, those bright green fibers could be the moss itself, or perhaps its micro-neighbors. Chapter 7. Tiny clear worms with strange black mouthpieces. As we saw earlier, there are microanimals. They are very small. Their bodies are translucent white, so that their internal organs, anus, and even their mouth parts are visible. Their mouths are long and black, used to stab or bite food. What kind of creature is this? These are nematode worms, free-living freshwater nematodes, feeding on bacteria, algae cells, and organic debris. The dark part of the mouth is a hardened cuticle, which functions as a sucking needle. A moist and nutrient-rich environment is their food. Chapter 8. Needle-like fibers that bind soil. In the soil attached to moss rhizoids, a closer look reveals a network of long, needle-like fibers that pierce and bind soil particles. What exactly are these fibers? There are two possibilities. First, they are fungal hyphae, the fine threads of decomposing fungi that spread through the soil, forming a mycelium. These fungi help decompose plant debris and connect soil particles in a living web. Second, they are the moss rhizoids themselves, multicellular structures that are indeed thread-like and capable of penetrating soil cracks to absorb water. Chapter 9. Water fleas frozen on fiber. Its body is very small, but it doesn't move. Is it really a water flea? True water fleas, like Daphnia, usually swim actively with their antennae. If it's still, there are three possibilities. It's dead and its body is stuck in the moss slime. It's in a resting phase called an amphibium, a kind of dormant capsule attached to the substrate, or it's a water mite at rest. Chapter 10. Hidden threats to humans, especially children. What are the risks if children play or adults clean puddles without gloves? Mossy puddles can be a reservoir for pathogens. Stagnant water becomes a breeding ground for leptospira bacteria, carried by rat urine, which causes the kidney-damaging disease leptospirosis. Furthermore, hookworm larvae can penetrate bare skin and migrate inside the body. Dermatophyte fungi that cause ringworm or Tinea versicolor also thrive in these moist environments. That concludes our explanation for now. I hope this is helpful. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you again on the next microscopic adventure.